Alright everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel. My youngest son is watching his iPad in the background, so we're trying to keep this brief. Diablo 4, Season 2, Season of Blood. I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, this is going to be an amazing season. In my opinion, it's amazing. So last week we had the, season changes and, a lot of the big game stuff, right? We had the 5 bosses revealed, we had the season mechanics revealed. So in general, pretty positive, honestly. At the end of that stream, I was like, all right, I'm sold. I'll play the season. I'll mess with it. See how it goes. Today we had a follow up in which they discussed uniques, legendaries, damage bucket changes, adding a Paragon board reset button, like a whole bunch of different things, quality of life, just tweaking the game, right? And after listening to this stream and trying to remember the first stream last week, I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember some of it. In general, I'm extremely excited for next Tuesday because the game is going to feel more complete. It's going to feel just better to play, I hope. It's a little dicey on how exactly the critical strike, vulnerable damage, overpower damage are going to interact now, so considering they capped the crit damage to 1.5 and vulnerable to 1.2, but we'll see. Overpower being better should be fun, right? Honestly, werebear all the time. But as far as I'm concerned, all of this is amazing, right? All of this is good. But the big things I want to take away from this are hearing the developer, I don't remember who it was, I don't remember which guy it was, say straight out, we were afraid of doing these changes. Or we were like, that, because I'm telling you right now, in my 24 years of life, I have never in my life heard a developer say those words. Granted, I haven't watched everything on YouTube or everything on the internet, so for all I know there are. But to what I know, I've never heard those words. Ever. And to hear a developer be this transparent about it, of like, yeah, we were actually scared to do this, was a giant, sorry, step forward for me. Especially in like hearing them say that. And on top of that, the other thing is the patch notes came out after the stream was done. I woke up and didn't hear all the notes and stuff, but there was accessibility changes. They put in the patch notes the accessibility improvements. They put in the patch notes, hey, blind players, here's your screen reader, here's bugs, here's things happening, let's fix these. They actually did. The transparency from this developer team, like, granted, I'm probably over the moon about it, probably over, like, exaggerating like crazy, and like, man, TJ, you're blowing this up out of proportion, man. But, like, to me, to what I know, this is amazing, right? And on top of that, they came out and said straight out, like, we have internal testing, which is like awesome. You guys actually cool. Like, that's great to know. That's really nice to know. I don't know how useful it is, but it is nice to know it's there. Same goes with, what was the other big thing you mentioned? It was we're afraid of this and internal testing. And one of the other guys was, I think it was the class designer guy. I apologize for not remembering names. I'm tired. I'm sick. But he basically called out like what barb players and sword players kind of have to do, because barbs take all 3 shouts or no shouts, and if you don't take shouts, you're kind of screwing yourself over. And Sorks pretty much need the defensives. If they don't take all 3 defensives and Frost Nova, then you're kind of screwed. Now, hopefully, we're not stuck into you need Vul, you need this, you need this. So now, hopefully, we'll see a lot more skill diversity, a lot more player diversity of like, I'm playing this Sork with these skills, this Sork with those skills. Like, to me, this is just looking so positive, and I really hope it does pan out for the best. Now, I understand I'm not the biggest content creator for Diablo, and probably never will be, but the fact that we have all these changes, and on top of that, the training dummy, I probably won't be able, I can't see the numbers. I'm sure the TTS won't read the numbers. It'd be nice to just mess around, like just swap things around, and just mess around and like just see if I can find an interesting combination. It's the Paragon reset button is a big quality of life for not just for sighted players, but blind players as well. Because I'm telling you right now, trying to navigate those Paragon boards without vision with just the TTS is a pain in the butt. But as far as I'm concerned, Diablo 4 is looking really good. Honestly, this next season is looking really good. As far as the actual endgame content, like, you have the bosses, you have Lilith, you have Nightmare Dungeons, so there's a bit more stuff to go for. Realistically, the bosses will be just there to farm uniques, but it'll be nice to actually have an option to do that, right? Like, if you're like, okay, I'm bored of fighting Nightmare Dungeons, I don't want to deal with Lilith right now, let me just go tackle the level 100 Duriel or whatever, right? Like, just have an option, right? Season 3, they mentioned they're doing leaderboards, so that's pretty cool. I hope, I don't know what mode they'll use for leaderboards, but maybe they'll just make their own. Season 2, they did mention that the resistances are changed to additive, which is pretty much how Diablo 2 works. If I remember correctly, Diablo 2, you had to get your additive resistances up to a certain cap, and so it basically is a much better system rather than multiplicative damage or multiplicative resistances. So, in general, Necros and Sorks might be more resistant to all the elements, but every class can still do it. It's just going to be a little trickier to get there with like Barbs and whoever. The other thing too is they're changing the way Overpower and Fortify and all these things kind of interact, because instead of max life, or base life, it's max life now for Fortify. So now Fortify is going to be a much stronger defensive skill, or not skill, stat, and it's going to scale with Overpower, I'm sure, differently. And so it's good. So I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more build diversity. I really hope we do, because there are some builds where I'm like, dude, that looks fun, but it's not really what I'm wanting, because I know objectively if I take off Whirlwind, I'm not going to be doing damage. And that reminds me, they changed the additive Berserk stuff for Barb to multiplicative, if I heard that right. Which to me says that's about to be a big, juicy damage. Alright? They did cap certain skills that were scaling infinitely, so that they do not scale infinitely. So that means there's a hard cap, just means you have to play around it. Means, sorry, your build is not overpowered, or not crazy strong. Like Wrath of the Berserker, Werebear, what's the bear ultimate for Druid? I don't remember what it's called, honestly. But yeah, so it's, and like some of the uniques look pretty cool. Like the idea of like the tornado pulling the boulder in for the Druid, so it's like your boulders are like a AoE around you. Reminds me of just Frozen Orb, honestly, just Frozen Orb, just with the Druid flavor. But like it's kind of cool. Kind of cool it's there. Yeah, so I haven't really I haven't decided what class I want to play, especially with these changes, with the patch notes today. I'm going to see if I can either read the notes myself, which is a more comprehensive, more full breakdown of what's happening next week, or just honestly just watch a synopsis on YouTube, because I don't have time to read the whole thing. I got it ready for work. It's almost time for work. But the so far, like all the classes are looking better and probably more fun. Like you're not like for the rogue, for example, you're not exactly like stuck with just puncture. You can actually use what it seems like you can kind of use which basic you want. Like it's a basic, sure, but it's like you have that option now. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out with the patch notes and like the actual like live gameplay and stuff. But if you guys are excited, please let me know. If you guys are interested, I'll be streaming it over on Twitch, twitch.tv/TJ the Blind Gamer. Thanks again for watching. I know I didn't really do anything, but I'm excited, man. Like Diablo 4 is looking really good, at least to me, for Season 2. So, let me know what you guys think.